Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This next video is going to be some bits and bobs covering some of the wall builds in the house. At this stage we've had the trusses delivered and we've managed to get all the trusses up on the wall plates as per the previous video, which means I can now continue to build the front wall. As you can see, the left part with the window is already built in place, but I had to leave the right hand side open with no wall plate and no wall in place so I could lift the trusses through the front of the house and then sit them down on the floor. So now they're all up, I can continue building it. So the part of the house that I'm building now is the walk-in wardrobe front wall, which is on the left hand side, and then the right hand side room will be the master bedroom. As per the previous walls, where the dividing wall between the two bedrooms will be going, I have to double up the studs just so I've got a decent fixing for the internal studding wall to fix to. The internal CLS studding that we're going to use is 100mm, so two 6x2s screwed back to back will obviously give us that width. So I've got to work out what place that's going on my front wall plate and then put that in place. And then it's a case of even 400mm centre studs up to where the second window is going to go, and then I've got to build another 3-ply beam and build the opening for that wall and window. The front wall is now built, as you can see, so you've got the two window openings there for the two rooms at the front. I've insulated and taped up the inside of the steel on the front just to stop any heat transferring through the steel, and we've then got this DPC that runs down tight across the steel to prevent any water or moisture from getting in and rusting it. We've then got a second DPC that covers the wall plate just to stop any water rotting the wall. And then there'll be another one fixed on there that'll go over the top like that, and then that is to guide any water away from the wall and out weep holes that will allow the water to drip out from the wall and then drip outside. The cavity will run from top to bottom and eventually will fill up with this condensation and any excess driven rain, so the weep holes are kind of a backup just to allow any water out. There will also then be cavities above the window openings. DPC's on, I can start to put the tyvek wrap around the front of the wall. So this overlaps by a minimum 150 up the sides, because obviously the sides are already tyveked as those walls are already built. And then from top to bottom, the top layer of tyvek covering the top half of the house will overlap the bottom sheet by 150mm. And there's some real clever, easy to see guidelines that run across the top of the tyvek showing exactly where the overlap should be. So once that's on, I can then staple and cut the excess off along the bottom and then put the next one on. So that's what I'm doing now. It's important to remember that the cavity may have some excess water sat in the bottom of it. So we need to make sure that the tyvek's cut to a length where it doesn't sit in the bottom of the cavity, because we don't want the tyvek sitting in any moisture that could eventually start to rot or damage the tyvek. I've also made sure that the DPC kicks up behind the tyvek so the water can't run right the way up the wall and start to damage the tyvek. Now the membranes fit in the correct place with the correct overlap, I'm able to use the tyvek tape to seal between the two sheets. This is to stop any airflow or moisture getting in up behind the breather membrane. You can also use this tape to cover any staple holes or patch in any damaged areas. So what I'm now doing is I'm cutting where the windows are going to be. So you make a nice incision in the middle of the tyvek sheet in the window, and then you work outwards. So you get 4 separate sections that you can then cut to the right size and then staple in place against the window reveals, ready for your sealing tape. So what you can see now is the special rubber amalgamated tape. This is used for going around the bends of your windowsills. So as you can see there, it's a flexible wrap, so it allows you to pull it straight along your windowsill edge and then bend it outwards so it sticks and seals. So any water that lands or gets in within the frame of the windows can't seep through into your window board or seep through behind your membrane edges. So we put this along the bottom, and then we also put it on the top corners as well. And it's designed in a way where it's effectively in 2 halves. So you line it up so the edge that folds over the front is on the edge of your window board. So we've now jumped downstairs to the front wall of the front bedroom, and this will be built out of timber. So this was the wall that was originally out of brick and it was all wobbly and wasn't very stable, so we put a steel above it. So it's now time to fill it in with a timber wall. So you can see there's a damp proof membrane that goes up the side of the wall. This is to make sure that any damp or moisture that could be in the solid brick wall doesn't seep into the timber frame that's going to be sandwiched between the two. Originally the front door was inside the house where the ladder is. That's now going to be going on the front of the house. So the external porch bit where it used to be will now be part of the inside footprint of the house. So I've got to take that into consideration when building the house. What I've had to do also is channel away some of the decorative bricks that stick out. As you can see there, they overlapped those particular bricks very slightly from the rest of the course as a little bit of decoration. So I've had to chisel them all off flush so I can get the wall plate against it. You can also see there's a couple of bricks there that were cemented in as part of the drive, like a little decorative step coming in. I'm going to leave that in as part of the front wall, damp proof course over that, and then put the timber wall sole plate on top of that. It's not ideal, but because there's going to be a porch on the front, that will be encapsulated in the footprint of the house anyway, so you won't be getting any water or damp getting in through there because the porch will be there. I've also got to put a DPC up the side of the wall on the left, and I'm also going to sandwich one between the top of the wall and that steel up there, so any condensation from the steel doesn't seep into the wall plate. The method of wall building down here is pretty much the same as it was on the top floor. You've got a brick base with a DPC on it to stop any moisture going through into the wall timber plate, and then there'll be anchor bolts going chemically fixed and going through the wall plate to fix that to the structure below. You'll then obviously insulate it, OSB board it, and put a cavity on the outside with a DPC running up. I've got to put a couple of studs above the top of the window in that little gap up there, and some noggins along the bottom underneath where the window is. You might notice on this one the walls are slightly different makeup compared to the upstairs walls, because there's steel above it and there's no 3-ply beams above it. I haven't got to put any king studs either side of the window, because there's literally just a little bit of timber and studding above the window, and that's it. The steel's doing all the load bearing. So you've got the wall plate screwed into the wall that side, and then there'll be noggins and the door frame attached to the left hand side. So there's not really any need to put extra studdings, any jack studs or king studs in place. This is quite a simple window within reason to build. Obviously then it's a matter of cladding it with the OSB, putting the membrane on, battens as per the previous ones. I've gone for 8x2s on this wall just so it matches the 9-inch brick wall that we've got on the original bungalow. It just makes it a little bit easier than trying to pack out 6x2s. So you can see the membrane there. So the membrane will be on the top and down the sides like that, and then I can do the cavity on the bottom where I can fold it back up underneath the membrane as per the previous walls. That's the wall built. The door frame's in. Got some studs to put above the door, and then I can clad it in the OSB, put some extra noggins in bits and places. And I've also got to double up one of the studs because the porch will be going on the outside, so I need a decent bearing for the porch wall to screw into. So the second vertical timber in from the door frame will be doubled up, and I'll get some more timber just so I've got something for the porch. That's pretty much it now. It's all done, so we've pretty much got all our walls done, ready for the windows now. Thank you for watching and tune in soon.